Budget Blinds. Visit their showroom or call today for a free in-home consultation.
Well, closer to home now, with a very busy 2016 ahead for the border city, Lloydminster Tourism is gearing up for the arrival of thousands of travelers over the summer. The 2016 visitor guide launches in May, although some copies will be made available shortly before. Lloyd's Tourism Guide, which has printed for more than 8 years, distributes more than 6,000 copies across Western Canada, along with hotspots around the city, such as hotel rooms. Caitlin Dukeshire says the distribution is based on demand.
These distributions are to people who have phoned and asked, or we have phoned and asked and said, hey, how many copies do you need? So it's very specific. It's not just a mass mail out. It's specific to who needs it and wants the information.
Dukeshire says the guide is just as much for developing major city events as it is a tool for overnight visitors.
Here we focus on those bid development and those events and try to bring those into Lloydminster. We spend a majority of our time working on those events.
For more information, head down to the Lloyd Economic and Development Corporation or visit lloydminstertourism.ca. Well, it was another full house for the Lloydminster and District Fish and Game Association's big annual event. For close to 60 years, the association has been hosting the Family Wildlife and Awards Banquet in support of habitat conservation and environmental projects. Handi has more.
The turnout is incredible. We're in tough economic times, but people seem to think they still need to eat, and that's a good thing for us.
The local Fish and Game Association brought their game last night. Wildlife game, that is. Hundreds of people tried everything from elk to alligator meat during the banquet portion of the event. Hunters, fishermen, and environmentalists were then recognized across 40 different categories at the awards ceremony. President Dwayne Davison says the event isn't just an opportunity to hand out trophies for notable wildlife entries, it's a chance for their organization to support various youth and environmental programs.
The purpose is to get people together and who enjoy common interests and support the club, and it's a fundraiser for us.
We donated about $25,000 for habitat programs to both split between two provinces of Saskatchewan and Alberta last year. So the money is used for those kinds of things.
$1,000 scholarships were also awarded to 5 post-secondary students in the conservation field.
It feels really great, actually. I was pretty happy when I got the phone call. I'm in the Wildlife Fishery Conservation Program with Lakeland College, so it's nice to get to know other people, other biologists, other conservation people in general, I guess.
The event was completely sold out at just over 450 tickets, with many people from surrounding communities also in attendance.
It's actually huge to the community because a lot of people come out and support this, and it's not all just straight people from Lloydminster. There's out-of-towners that come in for this.
Handi, Newcap News.
Well, Big Brothers Big Sisters has been in the border city since the 1970s. In the early years, however, the brothers were separate from the sisters until around 1996 when they joined together. Their hard work and involvement in the community has impacted the lives of many, especially those of young children. In this week's Retrospect, Chris Chacon has a look back in the past at how the sisters were doing then and how things are looking now.
Last night, the Big Sisters held its annual meeting at the FCSS building here in the border city. Treasurer Debbie Campbell was pleased to announce almost a $9,000 surplus from last year. However, former President Nancy Stanley noted that the Big Sisters want to look more to themselves for funding in the future, rather than the taxpayer.
Big Sisters is working really hard this year to become more financially self-sufficient. In other words, we hope to rely less on government funding and more on a number of fundraiser options over and above those that we presently rely on.
Aside from review of this year's budget, organizers took time to recognize those volunteers who were outstanding in their efforts throughout 1990.
Big Sister of 1990, Allison Weaver.
Allison Weaver of the Lloydminster area was named Big Sister of the Year, while Karen Hillaby of Lloydminster was named Volunteer of the Year. Though she enjoys putting in a lot of time into the organization, Hillaby notes that a lack of people adds to volunteer burnout.
I think there's more of a need for more volunteers to come out and to work at bingos. We find that we always get the same people out and working at the bingos. So
Fast forward to 2016, some of the major goals set out by Big Sisters in 1991 were not only met, but exceeded.
Looking to this year, we actually have about 3 major funders. We have about 14 other funders, and we still have the 2 major fundraising events every year, but we have 14 ongoing things we do throughout the year. So expanded a great deal in all categories.
So not only has their funding improved, but so has their number of volunteers.
Back in the 90s, we had about 50 volunteers. In this period in time, we have 150. However, we're always in need of volunteers. We have lots of volunteer positions, and so if anybody's interested, this is the place to come.
That's all for Retrospect this week. I'm Chris Chacon.